you guys get to actually help me cross the bridge, because if I'm recording, I have to be brave. And I know that very soon I'm going to be off the pavement and onto the metal grating, which I hate so much. So I figured I would just turn on the camera, sit it on my dashboard, and talk to you guys the entire way across the bridge, and hope that it makes me be brave, because I have to be brave in front of all of you. I had a wonderful time. The eclipse was everything that I thought it would be, and so much more. You know, the next eclipse is in 20 years, and if you can, go see it. Like, at this point, if I can still function to drive a car, or somebody can drive me to it, I'm gonna go see it. It was... I know in my shorts, I said several times that words cannot even begin to explain it, and that stands. I mean, the trite little words like awe-inspiring, amazing, awesome, those all kind of, I mean, they track, but they still don't really come close. It was magical. I can now see how so many, like, little religions started up probably in the middle of an eclipse. I can see it. It was almost 4 minutes, and I did record. I mean, I didn't record the whole thing because, I'm gonna be honest with you, I put the camera down for a while and just stared at the sky with my mouth hanging open, and I'm glad I did, because that was... it was so cool. But, and it's funny, the only thing I didn't see were, I had seen on several different science YouTube channels that I watch, I had seen that if you put a white piece of paper down on the ground, and I got a big old, like, poster board, that you could potentially see what they call, like, eclipse snakes, which is just like the wavelengths of light that show up. Didn't see those. I did look. I did remember to look. But I did see, and oh my gosh, it was so cool. The 360 degree sunrise or sunset, 360 degrees of what looked like a sunrise was, oh my goodness, it was so cool. It really was. Now, I don't know if I will have announced this before this video goes up, but I also had a bit of bad news on Eclipse Day. And, oh, now we're on the screaming. Oh, that is a terrible noise. Our sweet baby Jezebel, she died quite suddenly and in her sleep. I had been thinking about it for a while because she'd been sleeping a lot more lately and just hadn't been playing. She was eating, she was drinking, but we never knew how old she was. She showed up on our doorstep in the middle of a blizzard when we lived in Houghton. And when we had taken her to the vet for checkups or whatever, even the vet couldn't say much more beyond, she's an adult. And that was, I guess it was almost 10 years ago that she showed up. And I think she lived a very good life. I'm so sad that she went, but I've decided that she picked the perfect day to go, you know? So now she is Moon Kitty. She went over the Rainbow Bridge and straight into an eclipse. So I will definitely miss her. I'm sad that I wasn't there when she went. My son found her. She was curled up, what he thought was fast asleep, in her very favorite spot. So she went peaceful, but she will be missed a lot. But yeah, hey, we're halfway through the Screaming Metal Grate. I think I've mentioned before exactly how much I hate driving on this thing, right? Like, it's giving me terrible anxiety right now, and I'm literally only doing 20 miles an hour. I'm kind of glad that the person in front of me is this big truck who I very much trust to go nice and slow, because so often people behind you stack up and look like they want you to go faster, and I'm like, no, especially not when I have to drive on the screaming souls of the damned. I mean, it's not really, but oh my gosh, this noise. What this noise does not convey is the fact that you can also feel your car tires like wiggling on this. It's horrid. I hate it. But look at me being so brave, doing it, talking my way across the bridge, babbling like an idiot. Wow. I'm kind of glad that the camera is not on me right now, because I feel like I'm sweating buckets. Which is ironic, because it's only 55 degrees. Oh, that's an even worse noise. Oh, I'm going to be so happy for concrete. Can somebody please bring the concrete faster? Okay, I almost got quiet there for a minute. I'm fine. Everything's fine. This is fine. One good thing about the Mackinac Bridge, and the fact that it feels like they're always doing construction on it, is the fact that they're always doing construction. Oh, thank God we are on concrete. Oh, that is so much better. Whew. Stress levels just went down a lot. Anyway, they're always maintaining this bridge. So I feel like it's a fairly safe bridge. Also, the camera decided to go vibrating across, and you guys got a beautiful view of Lake Huron, which is on your right. On your left is Lake Michigan. This is interesting because technically, Lake Huron and Lake Michigan, I do believe, should be considered one lake, because the boundary of them is actually the Mackinac Bridge, the Straits of Mackinac. But even though they share water, I guess they are technically two separate lakes because they have completely different characteristics. So the more you know. Anyway. All right, well, thank you so much. You guys managed to get me all the way across the lake, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna be like turning you off in just a minute as soon as I feel a little bit more safe, and then I'm gonna put you away, and yeah, anyway, it kind of hit me that this is a pretty stretch of road. I mean, we're across the bridge, so I'm not using you as a crutch to get me across, but that's Lake Huron over there on the left. It's very beautiful. If you hear a weird rattle, it's because I have a loose something under the car that I plan on getting fixed as soon as I can. It's come loose before. I have a lot of rust under the bottom of the car. Probably has something to do with where I live and the whole winter thing. This poor car did not live in the garage its entire life, so, you know, it has its share of issues, but it did really good. The trip to Ohio went very well, and I'm very happy about that. And, oh wait, I'm wrong. That's Lake, did I say it was Lake Huron? Because it's Lake Michigan. I'm dumb. Lake Huron. In fact, I might have been dumb and told you the wrong lake on the wrong side when we were crossing the bridge. Lake Huron was the one that was on the right. Lake Michigan was the one that was on the left. I hope I said that right back then. I don't remember. I love the sand dunes. They're really, really pretty. I realize you can't see the lake right now because of the sand dunes, but the sand dunes are really nice. I'm kind of digging them. You know, it's kind of ironic that this video might have a better chance of getting put together and edited before the eclipse video, because I'll have time to cobble together something for tomorrow when I get home, but it won't be a lot. It might just be the bridge crossing. I don't know. We'll see. I am almost home, and by almost I mean I still have about 2 hours of driving to go. I've been on the road for 5 or 6 now? I don't know. I left this morning. It was drizzly and yucky, and now it's sunny and pretty. Definitely it's cooled off though. I think it was 70 when I left Ohio, and according to my car, right at this very moment, it is 47 degrees Fahrenheit at 6 p.m. I mean, for April, that's actually not bad. I'm not going to complain, although it was really kind of nice to have a couple days where it was like, oh my gosh, it's like 68 degrees. That's cool. But, yeah, it's good to be home. I am so happy to see trees instead of skyscrapers right now. Don't get me wrong, Columbus is actually really, really a fairly okay city. I mean, my son lives right in downtown Columbus, and for being in the middle of downtown, it's not that bad. I do hate parking anywhere in a city. It's terrible. Not my favorite thing. Do not recommend. If you could somehow avoid having a car in any city, I think that's probably your best bet. My son and his partner do not drive, and I see why. You really don't need to. Although, it's not the most walkable or bikeable city, but it is more walkable and bikeable than some cities I've been in. I mean, I did some urban hiking yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. We went out and we went down by, I don't know what the river is that goes through Columbus, but we hiked along the river and saw ducks, and we saw geese. I'm fairly certain at one point that I might have seen a hawk, but don't quote me on it. And, you know, squirrels. And there's a surprising amount of bunny rabbits in the middle of downtown Columbus. And I saw a woodchuck. So I can find me an animal darn near anywhere. I was really surprised. There were sparrows everywhere, but I did not see a single pigeon the entire time I was in Columbus, which is weird because I always associate pigeons with cities. And even the little city that I live closest to, where I go get my groceries, it has a lot of pigeons. But I didn't see any in Columbus. Weird. So yeah, there's some beautiful architecture in downtown Columbus. It's funny because it's all of these beautiful old houses that have all been turned into apartments, which makes sense. I mean, does anybody really need a house that big in the middle of downtown? Probably not. And having it as apartments means that it gives a few more people a chance to actually have a place to live. Although rent prices are super high. But it is what it is. Anyway, I think we are away from the lake again, and all that is going to be along the road at this point is trees, which are pretty. At least they're green. I mean, the deciduous trees have not begun to actually bud and leaf out yet, but the pine trees are always green, which is nice. Oh, the other thing that I saw in Columbus that was so cool, all of the spring flowers were out down there, and all over Columbus. I don't know who did the planting there, but there is just beautiful, like, magnolia and cherry and weeping cherry and crabapple trees everywhere. Terrible if you have allergies. Like, my son-in-law has got really bad allergies, so his allergies were kicking in, but it's gorgeous. And the flowers everywhere, it's very nice. I approve. I always approve of flowers. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I'm not. I'm really talking to you guys. Kinda, sorta, a little bit. So this is a very typical small town in the Upper Peninsula that we just blew on through. You know, they make you slow down to 50 whole miles per hour as you go through these towns. I think it was only a couple years ago that the speed limit on US 2 went back up to 65. For the longest time, the speed limit in the entire Upper Peninsula, except for I-75, was 55, and be happy with it. But they actually raised it. Probably because everybody was already doing 80, so they figured they should at least take it up to 65 to maybe, I was gonna say maybe have less fines, but you would think that they would want more fines. After all, money, money, money. Now I'm just really babbling at this point. If I'm still on the road when the sun is going down, although I think I'm going to be home before sunset, I will put you guys back on the dashboard and turn you on again, because sunset over the Great Lakes is magical. But I think I'm going to be home before that. Anyway, thanks for keeping me company again, and this might be the last clip in this thing. Alright, I guess I have to turn down the music. I'm actually going to have the camera going. So, we're homeward stretch. This is like almost the final road, and you guys are shaking all over. And we are going directly into the sun, which is always exciting. So yeah, it was a good trip, but I'm glad to be home. I can tell that I am almost home because before I pulled the camera out and stuck you back on the dashboard, I had to slow down almost to a complete stop for a flock of turkeys who were just having a meeting in the middle of the highway, I guess. And then before I even bothered to speed up again, there were 5 deer that were also having a conversation, this time thankfully on the side of the road. But it's always best to slow down and let them decide which direction they're gonna run, because they have this nasty, nasty habit of deciding that the direction that they should run is directly in front of your car. And I would hate to hit a deer, Not only because it would hurt my car, but because it would hurt the deer. And I would feel really guilty about that. But yeah, ooh, that is a bright, bright sunlight. I figured I would at least do something that was a little bit more like an ending to this day of travel semi-vlog. It's only a semi-vlog because, deer. Boingity, 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 bye, dear. It's only a semi-vlog because I didn't bother sticking you guys on the dashboard until I desperately needed you to help me get across the bridge. By the way, thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. You know, having a camera to talk to did indeed make me much braver on the Screaming Souls Bridge. I did just fine going across the bridge the other way because I was on concrete the whole way. Concrete does not make that noise, and that noise is a terrible, terrible noise. I don't like it. Well, I do know why they make bridges like that. It's got to be something to do with the weight, because the Mackinac Bridge is a very long bridge. I mean, it's not like the world's longest or anything. I think for a while it was one of the longest suspension bridges. But it's 5 miles. And that's a decent amount of span for that much weight. So, I can see why they did it. But, that doesn't mean I have to actually like going across it. Also, I'm almost positive that I saw a patch of snow. I was really hoping that that was going to be completely gone by the time I got home. Sorry about the sunlight. If you think it's glaring in the camera bad, you ought to try it in your eyeballs. Also, that's another deer. That deer is just standing there. We'll stop and... Oh, she does not even care. She's just like, yeah. You know, the nicest thing about living here is I can stop in the middle of the road. Because there was another deer on the other side. There is nobody around me. This is like the dangerous time of night. If you're going to go out driving, do not drive fast. Right around dusk in the woods is prime time for deer. There's 2 more up ahead. The woods are alive with a bunch of deer. Okay, that's all the singing you guys get. Sorry. That is more deer than I think I saw all winter. You can tell I didn't do a lot of driving all winter, because from what I understand, there were actually a whole lot of deer all winter. I just actually glanced at the screen on my camera, and my battery's almost dead. So I guess with a whole bunch of deer sighted, I don't know if you guys got to see any other than the one that I stopped for. I hope you got to see them. But yeah, with a whole bunch of deer sighted and me almost home. I am so close. I have walked this far fairly regularly. So with me almost home and deer sighted, I guess, thanks for joining me. I hope that you guys enjoy the eclipse footage when I get it edited, and I'll see you later.